Thank you for forgiving me.
You're welcome.
Okay, anyway, let's do this. Hi, friends, and welcome to another episode of the Reading Queens podcast. We are here today to talk about books and flowers and a very random topic and not well explained at all, but we're going to get into it, so it's fine. I'm Valia. Hello. I'm here as usual. You guys just expect me to be here. But I have two ladies joining me today, so please say hello.
Hello, I'm Joanna.
Hi, I'm Kay.
Yes, and the three of us are going to talk about things and then books and then flowers and all of that, whatever that entails. It is evening here, so I am quite in a weird state of mind today, so I apologize already. But you know what? The chaos that I bring when I am tired, it works for me. So yeah, anyway,
And it's morning for us, so we'll just, clean it up. I don't know what that's supposed to be.
You're gonna balance me out.
Yeah, there you go. We're the boring ones who haven't had chaos hit us yet, so.
Perfect. I live for the
Maybe.
balance. It's good. As Kay jinx it. Okay, thanks for that.
You're welcome. I'm sure everyone would love a chaotic episode anyway, so.
It's true. Those are the best
most fun.
Yep. All right, so Joanna, tell us about your life. How have you been?
Oh, my kids were on spring break, which didn't feel like spring because we got hit with more snow here,
Oh,
as Kay knows.
bummer.
But my husband had COVID, so everyone was stuck in the house. But honestly, it was fine. It's been kind of nice just chilling with the family,
How
Even
long
though we-
has your husband been sick now?
A long time. He got sick before spring break, a couple days before spring break, and he's still not quite there yet. So
Oh, that's awful.
I'm wondering if he never had it. We thought he had it, but anyway, so he's been miserable, but the rest of us have stayed healthy. It's just been like a little cabin fever.
Yeah.
But I went out and bought a car for my husband because I needed one while he was
Okay.
sick. So
Nice. It's a
Next
fun
time lead
activity.
with that. I bought a car for my husband.
And he
Usually
wasn't
it's
with
like
you. I love
him that
it.
takes care of it. No, usually, yeah, my neighbor went with me, but yeah, it was an experience, but boring, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of cars, our car has a crack in the windshield. Again, this is the third windshield, okay? Like, I don't understand. I feel like this car
Where are you
is
driving?
cursed or something. I don't know. We've had the car for a little while. It's been like 6 years since we've gotten it. So it's not like it's new or anything, but I feel like that's too many cracked windshields in 6 years, right? 3? One, it's just, so now I'm very annoyed, and I'm like, well, you know what? We're probably just gonna get it repaired so it doesn't get worse and then just live with it for a while because I'm just too annoyed to get another windshield. You know what I mean?
Don't blame you.
Could. I'm just like, why bother? It's just gonna get cracked again. Let's just live with the stupid. And the crack isn't right in front of, we've had in this same vehicle, we've had a crack like right in my line of vision, when you're driving,
yeah.
it's like right. And so that one we
Mhm.
obviously had to get fixed pretty quickly. And then anyway, then the other one we got fixed fairly quickly too. We were going on a long trip, so we're like, we'll get it fixed after the trip. But anyway, but this time I'm just too annoyed. I'm like, yeah, we could get it fixed, but I don't know if I even want to because it's just gonna get worse again. Anyway. So that's my life, apparently.
That's
I'm very
great.
annoyed.
I guess it's not as bad as if you're in Arizona. Like if you get even a little chip in the windshield, you can't leave it because if you leave it, it cracks like crazy because it's so hot. So it like
Yeah.
spreads ridiculously fast. And I feel like I've had, I don't know, my dad changes his windshield like once every 3 months or something. I don't know because we just
What?
have like it's not that drastic, sorry. But it feels like it's that drastic because I feel like Arizona has a lot of gravel, like as just everywhere,
Mm.
like, and so
Yeah.
it ends up on the road, and then it just on all the freeways, and it's just in your windshields all the time. It's incredibly annoying. I think I've had in the last maybe 5-6 years, I think I've had 3 or 4 times that I had to change my windshield.
All
So
right. I suppose
don't feel that
I
bad.
shouldn't complain so much. It just seems like a
You
lot
can
to me.
complain.
It's still annoying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Also,
Yeah.
you can complain if you're not in Arizona. In Arizona, people, it's just part of life. You should just come prepared to always
Yeah.
replace your windshield.
Well, I mean, once it gets cracked, you can usually have like a repair so that they can do, I don't know, they do their magic. It's
Oh, yeah, yeah.
actual
It's that, like-
magic. No, I'm just kidding. But they do
That
something
gluey
to it
stuff that they
so
put
that
in it.
yeah, so that it doesn't get worse. But yeah, this
Yeah.
crack, it was like Saturday, all of a sudden we had this crack. And they say that if it's like smaller than the size of a dollar bill, they can usually fix it. I know this
Mhm.
because of how many times I've had my windshield cracked. And so I was like, okay, cool. We'll try and get it fixed. I think it was Friday night. And then I was like, I'll call him Saturday morning. And then Saturday morning, we went out to go grocery shopping and it had already cracked way more, like way past dollar bill.
Oh.
And I was like, what? But then then I forgot it was the weekend. We were busy and now it's like all up. It's like almost through the entire windshield, not all the way, but
Oh.
it's up. It's like vertical. So
I
it
would
just
suggest
happened
you
very,
fix
very
it.
fast. It was
Yeah.
stupid. Yeah. And
Just
it came
gotta
at a
just
time when we
relax.
couldn't just do anything about it like right then. So now it's
Mhm.
way worse. And anyway, the worst day ever. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't. It wasn't.
So now that we've been very dramatic about everything to do with
Yeah.
windshields. Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, let's talk about these books that we read for this podcast because that's why we're here. Yeah, so the way I came up with this topic, I will tell the girls because I haven't told them. It was very random. I was going through my phone and I was deleting pictures that I've had on my phone for forever. And I came across this picture of me and Thor at Disneyland. And I was wearing my like a black flowery kimono over my shorts. And I remember specifically that Thor, who was very, very cute, called me the Princess of Flowers. And as I'm like going through this thing, I was just like, we should do a topic on books and flowers because I feel like there's so many covers with flowers on them and
I love
princess
that.
and magic. Anyway, that is how we came up with this topic, or I came up with this topic. And then I realized Googling and researching that flowers just play such a huge part in covers in general, and then in a lot of titles lately. So anyway, we're going to talk about books that have flowers on covers or in the story mostly. Joanna's going to start us off with hers, and yeah, let's just do it.
Yeah. So honestly, this topic was hard to find a book because you can't just like Google what
Flower covers
story has flowers
Yeah.
in the title or flowers in it, unless you're like talking about a specific flower. But so the last time I was on the podcast with Stacy, she mentioned that her book, A Taste of Torment, has flowers in it. So it gave me the perfect opportunity to read
Yes.
it for this one. So I read A Taste of Torment by Stacy Trombley. Do you want me to tell you about the flowers first or the story?
The story.
The story. Okay.
The flowers.
So
No,
it's
I'm
the flowers. So it's about a human girl named Candace whose sister was killed by some mysterious person. She's not quite sure, but she knows that this person is connected with an academy of supernatural creatures like demons and fairies and witches and werewolves and all of those. And so she goes to the school because her parents are very famous and rich potion masters. And so she knows people in the community and is able to get into the school. And so she goes to the school with the intent to find the person who killed her sister and kill them.
Perfect.
For vengeance. So she shows up and is immediately there's this demon prince who is kind of the top of the social hierarchy, and she has history with him as a kid. They were friends as kids, and she wants nothing to do with him, but he immediately is like drawn to her and is like finding out why she's there, and she tells him that her sister died and that's why she's there. So he's like, let's pretend to date. I'll get you in all of the inner circles and we'll find out who this killer is. But all the while, she's terrified of him because he's a demon prince. So it has all of those like yummy, juicy tropes of fake dating and the really hot demon prince who's totally into her, and she has her quirky friends. So yeah, it was really enjoyable. I really liked it. But the part about flowers is there's certain ways in this world of someone like claiming someone like in a romantic way.
Okay.
But he knows that she doesn't, it's like marked, like being marked. I think that's another trope in a lot of these too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he sends her these like really dark calla lilies. They're like dark red, dark purple. They're really pretty. And that's kind of like his initial, you're my girlfriend, here's some flowers. But then these calla lilies they keep popping up as obviously romance develops. So
what?
Really
the fake dating romance?
Fake dating?
Oh my gosh, how dare you spoil it?
The last time I was on the podcast, I was talking about Crave by Tracy Wolff, and it gave me it was very similar in a lot of ways with the human girl going to the academy and the prince at the top like being interested in her and the quirky friends and all of that. But I like Stacey's better. So if you like Crave, read A Taste of Torment because it gives some of the same vibes.
That's great. And
awesome.
Does she have 2 books out or 3 now in that series?
Oh.
I know she has at least 2.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can't remember if the third one's. I don't think it is out yet. I can't remember.
It might be on pre-order because I've seen the cover for it, so maybe that's what it is. But yeah, I also really enjoyed that. And you know me, I'm a sucker for Academy anything, so I think Stacey did a really good job with that book, series and stuff. So
very good job.
That's fun. Also love lilies so much that anytime they're in stories, I get excited. I'm like, yay, get more love for lilies.
Book 3 comes out May 29th, so on pre-order.
Is that the last one?
Oh, I don't
think
know.
So.
I don't think so either.
Like 5 book series, maybe.
Okay.
I think. Don't quote me on that. Stacey, you can tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave it in the comments.
Yeah. Can you comment on our Instagram, please, and let everybody know. But yeah, those covers are great, and I'm excited to see where she takes the story in book 3. So you should all check it out. I will link it, obviously, as I do. Anyway, Kay, let's talk about your book.
Okay, me. So I read The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. It was awesome. It was very awesome. Okay, so about the story. It's about a prison healer. I know you probably would not have guessed that.
Oh my.
So
What?
this girl was brought to prison with her father when she was, I can't remember, 7, I think. I should know this. Anyway, yeah, I think she was 7 or 8. Something like that. And it's like a high fantasy, by the way, the setting is. And this prison is very extensive. It's like its own community. So they're in prison, but there are people who work in the quarry, and there are people who I don't remember anything else now that I'm trying to remember. But she works in the, infirmary. She's the prison healer, and so she and her father were brought there because they were suspected of treason, but were they actually guilty of treason? You know what I mean? Like, it's obviously obviously considering they sent a 7-year-old girl there, it's pretty clear that not everyone who gets sent there is guilty, right? There are the guilty people, but also there are just the people who they want to have be quiet, or whatever, who get mixed up in things. So it's a very interesting, unique, there's just this whole community. It's like a city, and there are the guards and all of these different dynamics. Anyway, so she this guy a guy sent to the prison, and they always go to the infirmary first, new people, and he got like beat up really bad on his way to the prison, and there are two other guys with him and they're dead, and this guy is like barely alive, so she's like has to work so hard to save him, you know how it is. Anyway, they you may never have guessed this, but a romance develops between them. It's good. It's really good. And I will say there are some tropes in it that are some of my favorite. It's just so good. The only thing that is kind of sad to me is as writers, when we're trying to hide certain clues, we do it in certain ways. And, because of that, we just pick up on those clues in other books. And I just like, yeah, I guessed all of the, major twists pretty much, which is not to say that I'm, it's just a writer thing. You just you just like, oh, I see how you hid that clue. I would have done it the same way. It's very well done, but it's just, but you know how sometimes you feel like, I wish I could read a book again for the first time. I kind of felt like that with this book, where it's just like, I wish I could have read it and not known what was coming because I did, and it was very well done, but it's just like it. And I will say the reveals were still fun and still like intriguing. Hearing all the specifics, because obviously there are big things I had guessed, but so I don't know. It was really well done. And if you like plot twists, it's a good one. It's a great one. And it ended in a great cliffhanger. So I'm excited about the next book. So as far as flowers go, it has this beautiful flower on the cover. And the other way that, I guess not necessarily flowers specifically, but plants are a very big part of it because, as I said, she's a prison healer. So she's constantly using plants and herbs and that kind of thing in order to save her patients. And you really get to see a lot of her process. It really feels like she's a doctor. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Sometimes
Cool.
it feels like she's a doctor throughout the whole book. And you get to see her like really think through things and have that kind of the mind of somebody who has been trained in that way. So it was very cool. And I was going to say something else that I can't remember. Oh yeah. The other thing, I only have just barely finished this like yesterday. And, the whole time I was reading it, I was like, why did I not read this earlier? Because as an author, one thing that we always love to find is a comp book or a comparable book to ours. And obviously, you don't want a book that's exactly the same because, that wouldn't be fun to read a book, to read the exact same book again, right? But something that is very close enough so that you can be like, oh, well, this book, it's kind of like that. And as I was reading this, I was like, this is the perfect comp to my book, Flaming Crystal Thorns. Like, I can't believe I had never realized how similar they were. And so anyway, yeah, I was just very excited to learn that. Now I can tell people this is similar to my book. So if you liked that one, it's obviously not exactly the same. My series does not take place in a prison, but my main character is an apothecary. So she has that healing element that is there throughout the series. Not as strong, I wouldn't say she does heal, but in a different way. So anyway, it was a very good book and I highly recommend it.
That's really fun. I feel like I've had that book on my TBR for like the longest time.
Yeah,
And
same with me.
Yeah,
Same.
I just haven't picked it up. That's really weird, but it sounds really cool actually. Like way cooler than I expected it to sound, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it like wasn't like promoted correctly
as
to
well
me,
as it should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing in it that was so interesting is the main character has this like friend that's a guard, and it's a girl, and they're like, anyway, I was just like, I have the same character in my same series, it's just like another reason it was a perfect comp, that she has this friend who is like a certain personality, and then in my Flaming Crystal Thorns, they don't become friends till later, but it's just like the same kind of friend, the same kind of dynamic, and I was just like, that's so funny that it's just such a good dynamic, I guess. So
That's fun.
Also, I'm pretty sure the love interest's name in The Prison Healer is the same as the love interest's name in A Taste of Agony. What is that what it's called? A Taste of Agony?
Wait, Stacy's books?
Yeah. A
Oh,
Taste of
it's A Taste of
Torment.
Torment.
Oh, it's Taste of Agony is a different
It's-
book in the series. Sorry,
I
A
thought it was
Taste
a
of
drop of
Torment.
anguish or something. So yeah. Okay. Is it? What's the name? Do you
It's
remember?
A Taste of Torment.
A Taste
Yeah,
of Torment, the love interest name is Jaren.
A Drop
Sure.
of Anguish is book 2 in the series.
Yeah.
And A Dose of Agony is book 3. See,
There you go.
know, we all got it. It's all good.
So
A Taste of Torment, yes. And the love interest in The Prison Healer is also Jaren. So there you go.
Cool.
If you really like that name, 2
There you
books you can read with that love interest name.
that's actually really funny.
Yeah.
Also, wow, I just realized that Stacy's books are just like they just get sadder and sadder in titles.
A Taste of Torment. I already forgot what it is.
A Drop of
Anguish.
Drop of Anguish.
And then A Dose of Agony. Those are good titles.
They're
I have
good
to say.
titles, but they're so depressing. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. Stacy, you're great. Anyway, yeah, definitely need to pick up Prison Healer sooner rather than later because that sounds really fun. I did not read a young adult book for this because my reading's all over the place. You guys know this. This has been the topic of conversation for months now. But anyway, I think I mentioned this on the podcast previously, and I said I was reading it. It's A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon by Sarah Hawley. And this is like a witchy rom-com, cozy, I wouldn't say fantasy, I guess like a paranormal. But anyway, she is the main character, Mariel, is a witch who has like this destiny that was predicted for her to be like the greatest witch of this really powerful family. And she kind of just sucks as a witch completely. And her mother just is like really, I don't know, pushy about it and blah, blah, blah. And so Mariel just does not do well with magic at all. And she has this, the big thing with flowers for her is that she like works with flowers and she grows flowers because her nature magic is actually really powerful and really good, but it's not like powerful enough to be impressive to her mom. And her mom's like, no, you have to like do all this other magic for it to be impressive. And so as she's trying to do practicing these spells, she decides that she is gonna bake something, and her mom is like, well, just portal yourself some, I don't know, I think it was like French, I don't know, something. It was like French flour or something to put in like an ingredient that she can portal in using this spell. And so she's like, oh, fine. So she does this spell, and instead of portaling herself some ingredients for her baking, she portals herself a demon.
Oh,
And so,
whoops.
I was wondering if that's where you were going. I was like, oh,
Yep.
this is gonna be good.
so yeah, so she summons him and actually gets into literal soul bargain, because that's what happens if you summon a demon. You have to make a bargain with this person. And so the demon is kind of like attached to her until she makes a bargain. So she can't even go really far away from him without him like following her, kind of thing. Anyway, so yeah, shenanigans. That's what happens. She has to
Also
deal
fake
with
dating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so fake dating. So they kind of pretend that they're boyfriend girlfriend in front of the mom because he's a demon, so she's gonna try to hide that. And he's supposed to be like this demon, Ozroth, there's like a nickname, Ruthless or something like that. And this boy is not ruthless, okay? He's like it's just annoying. Anyway, I mean like annoying in a good
I thought you
way.
were gonna say like so sweet, a cinnamon roll,
So
but then you just
cinnamon roll.
said annoying.
Well, it's
Not where I
annoying
thought
to
that was
her. Okay. Because she's literally like attached to this demon until she makes a soul bargain, which she's not going to, right? So she's just like, anyway, so yeah, so it's set in like a small town, and so it has like that small town feel of these characters. She has these two best friends. One is like a pixie, I think, and the other one is also a witch, and her friend witch has like anger issues, and so she's just like very feisty, and she literally just works out a lot, and so she has like all these self-defense tactics, and she like can use her magic with it. It's really great. I very much love that.
So is it contemporary? Like, does it take place in our time?
I believe so. I think I
But,
would
like,
say
not-
yes.
in our world though, like on Earth, or is it like a
I
pretend world?
think so. The town is pretend, and there's not enough setting for me to tell you that it's set like in our world. It just set in a
But it
world that
could
has
be.
like cell phones, if that makes
Okay.
sense, and
Okay. Yeah.
social media. But because what the pixie is a social media star, so
Oh, nice.
she's
That seems
always like,
appropriate.
right? So she always like posts stuff and all this whatever. Yeah, so it has like very low stakes in the sense of like, like a cozy witchy rom-com. And I really enjoyed that aspect to it because I was like, okay, like I'm here for the relationship versus like this battle against the great evil. But the whole flower thing, let me go back to that. So she does work with flowers and she does have powers, and you kind of discover through the story, like really, I mean, pretty much immediately in the beginning, she says that flowers respond to her. And the demon at first is like, no, they're just like responding to your magic, but you actually find out like, no, like they respond to her. And so she has this huge greenhouse, and she is entering this one thing that she's good at is they have this flower competition and at the festival every year. And so she always takes like, really good price. And so this year I think it's like a flower lily or something like that too. I got very excited about that. But apparently with demon magic, it makes it glow. And it's something that is like natural for it, but because there's never like a demon around, you never see it. So it's like a whole thing about her entering this competition because she's just like really good with flowers. And so a lot of what they do in the story, like they go, like the forest is getting destroyed because the town wants to build like a shopping mall or something like that. And so she has to like protect the forest. And so a lot of it has to deal with like nature in general. And it's really fun to see. I don't know, I just really love people like when you were talking about your healer. I love the aspect of where you can like actually see them do stuff with like the plants, especially if it's like herbs or like potions or anything like that that you can create. I remember when I was writing Brianna, which is one of my Hawthorne witches, I specifically did things like in my kitchen that she would do in the book because I was like, this is like a real thing that you can do. You can create this little elixir from these herbs and like use it for your skin or for your hair or whatever. And so I like that aspect about like nature magic and especially using flowers and stuff. So yeah, so I really enjoyed this book in
So were the flowers and things that she referenced real? Because in the prison healer, I think they were made up. I mean, maybe they're real, but I don't think they were.
There were some that were real, and then there were some like the demon lily that was
Oh
not.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so some of them definitely were real and some weren't. So I also kind of like that too. Is just like the mixture of something that
Of
is
real and
tangible and then
magical,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Especially in these kind of books where it's kind of like a setting that could possibly be in our world or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think yeah. But yeah, it was fun. It was great. The cover for the UK version, which is the one that I have, is very beautiful and it's got like a what is it called? A frame of flowers around it, and I really, really like it. I did not like the US cover version frame at all. But yeah, so that was my book with flowers.
I love it.
Demon flower kind of sounds like Rapunzel's flower.
Oh.
Glows.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, this one actually has like I think fire. Like there's actually like a bit of fire that like just sits in the middle of the petals.
Okay.
So it's a little different. It doesn't just glow, but it has like an actual
Just
fire
glow.
that attaches to it and doesn't burn out, it doesn't burn the flower, which I really like. Sorry,
All
my
right.
brain.
What color is the UK version?
Turquoise,
Oh, okay. And then it has like the pretty flowers. So then the US version is
the
like
yellow
yellow.
one. Yeah.
Ah, I see.
And I felt like the US
I looked
version.
them up, guys.
Yeah, of
So
course.
you can go ahead and look them up now too. It's okay if you do that.
Yeah, I feel like the US version, the flowers on that and just like everything in general is one of those kind of like you would find like a stamp. Like that's what it makes me think of. Like if you stamped the cover with like a design, that's what it would look like. But in the US or the UK one is actually looks like somebody drew the flowers.
Like an
and
illustration.
an
Yeah.
illustration, yeah, which I liked much better, especially since they do play a big part for her, and stuff. So
I just think it's interesting that her outfits are different too. I mean, I guess
Mhm.
I don't know why that's so weird to me, but I'm like, well, which one does she wear? The purple dress or the yellow shirt and skirt? Like, she probably wears both. I don't know.
I actually don't
Or-
think she
or
wears
maybe
either.
neither.
Yeah, I don't think she wears either, now that I think about it.
That's funny.
I do think that the characters that are drawn on the UK version look much more like the characters in the book
In the
than the
book.
US one.
Well,
I
the
think,
demon's wearing the same thing on both covers, so
I mean, who cares about
we
the
know
demon?
what he's wearing at least.
Yeah. A t-shirt and pants. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we've got. Yeah. No, I did enjoy their relationship because she is kind of like quirky, and the whole book was very quirky, I will say. So there is that, but I feel like that's just witchy rom-coms. They kind of have to be quirky. Yeah, so anyway, so that was our topic. If you guys have if you've read any books that have to deal with flowers or have like a big part of, with even plants, I'd be curious to hear if you have any favorite ones. I feel like there's a lot of books, not a lot, but there's a number of books coming out now or have come out recently that have like flowery names, like, Belladonna and the Foxglove Queen, King, something like that.
Oh yeah,
And just those
foxglove.
two, yeah, they come to mind immediately because I was like looking at them. But yeah, there's a lot that I feel like I've seen recently. So if you read any, let us know on our Instagram. Do you guys have any? Do you know what you're reading next, Joanna? Do you have a book in your TBR?
No, every time I say what I'm going to read next, I just end up reading whatever I need to read next for the podcast.
Perfect.
So I think last time I said I was going to read Finale, but I ended up reading Stacey's book instead. So I don't know.
Great. I love that. Kay, are you reading anything?
Well, I have two things on my TBR, and I bet you Valia knows at least one of them. It's
Tell
Silver
me.
in the Bone by Alexandra Bracken.
Yes.
So excited to read
I'm
it.
so
I've been
excited.
waiting. Like when she sent an email that she was writing an Arthurian kind of, I don't even remember what she put in that email. It was just
Mhm.
like the very first email about this book. It was like 2 years ago. I was like, I can't wait. So I've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and it finally came out, so I get to read it. But then also Truth Witch by Susan Dennard I'll be reading.
Oh,
So excited about
yay. Besties. I love them. I love them both so much. Yeah, everybody needs to go read Silver immediately. I'm just saying, okay? I'm not biased or anything.
I mean, I haven't read it, but also I agree. So
yeah, I pre-ordered a copy, right? The Barnes & Noble edition because I liked that one a lot.
that's the one I
And-
got also.
Perfect. But I also picked up a UK version.
Oh,
while
nice.
here because it's gorgeous. The naked hardcover is absolutely amazing and I love it so much. And yeah, I had to, you guys. I just had to because I love this book so hard. Anyway, I am not reading anything right now. I mean, I was reading a book and it was a very big disappointment to me. So I have quit it and now I don't know what to read. Basically, this is where we're at.
The Prison Healer. So
The Prison
just saying.
I wonder if I have that on my Kindle. If I have that on my Kindle, I will read it. I might actually.
right.
So I will check. And I will report back.
All right, nice.
Yes. But yeah, I think that will be all for us. If you guys, like I said, have any books that you want to talk about with us that deal with flowers, or when you read Silver, you can come talk to me and Kay because she'll
And
be
me,
reading
yes.
that. But yeah, go ahead and follow us on our Instagram at Reading Queens Pod and Facebook, the same handle. We hang out on there all the time. So come talk books with us because that is our favorite topic, as you may guess by this podcast.
If you want to complain about your windshield also, that's acceptable. I'm just kidding.
Yes, there you go. We are open for all kinds of conversations. Okay, so there is that. But yeah, and also give us a follow on your favorite podcast platform, or and leave a star rating or a review. Both of those help a lot, and spread the word to come hang out with us on Wednesdays. Next Wednesday, we'll have another really fun episode for you guys. So be here, and that's all. That is all I'm going to say. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.